the world's easiest prototyping crash course. In this video, we're going to use Figma and we're going to learn everything you need to know about prototyping so that you can be an expert in prototyping starting right now. So, the very first question I'm sure everyone is wondering is, what even is prototyping? Prototyping simply means you turn your static designs into something clickable. Instead of just showing images on your screen, you show how the product actually works. For example, you click a button and the next screen opens up, or you click on a menu and the navigation bar opens up. It helps clients understand the whole experience and not just the visuals. And the best part is Figma makes it extremely easy. So the question is, how do we make static screens turn into working prototypes? Let's go inside of Figma and see exactly how that happens. Alright, now that we're inside of Figma, let's look at what prototyping is. So we're just going to select a screen. You can use any screen you've already worked with. I'm just going to select this screen right now, go to the prototype tab, and now this is going to show me all of the options I have for prototyping. So this is the first option. It's called flow starting point, and if you choose this for any screen, this is the place from where your entire prototyping or your entire experience will begin. And since I want this to be the first screen, I'm just going to let it be flow 1. If you have more than one flow, then you can create different flows. So this can be the first screen for the first flow, and this can be the first screen for another flow. But right now we only have one experience from this to this to this to this, so we're just going to create this as the first flow. The next option I have is interactions. Interactions let me do a couple of things. So for example, if I choose one single icon right here, this is the icon for this screen, and I choose to add an interaction to this, what this will does is it will trigger at a certain point. So this trigger is triggering on click. So when I click on this specific icon, this is going to trigger on click, and then it's going to navigate to, because action is navigation. You could do a bunch of other things, like you could change it to a certain screen, go back to a certain screen, scroll to a certain place if you have a longer screen, open a link outside of the Figma interface, set a variable, or open an overlay, but those are not needed right now. We just need to navigate to another screen, and most of the times you will also be navigating to a different screen. This is going to be our destination, MacBook Pro 16.2, and the animation that we're going to do is Smart Animate, because most animations are of different types, and I'm going to show you exactly what most animations do. So to see what this looks like, you're just going to go ahead and select this triangle right here, and it's going to open up your entire screen for you. This is what it looks like. So now if I go over here, and I'm going to show you all of the different animation types that you can have. So for example, if you had the animation style of dissolve and you clicked on this, then it would dissolve automatically into the next screen. I don't know if you saw that, but if you click on this icon once again, it slowly dissolves into the next screen. If you had an animation of Smart Animate, which is my favorite kind, it would basically animate with a lot of smoothness, calculating exactly where things were supposed to be. So check this out. This was like the smoothest animation ever, because it calculates the common elements between this and this and makes the common elements kind of smooth out on their own. So this is going to be how it just animates on its own. Smart Animate is the best option out there, but let's see all the other options as well. You can have it move in like a slideshow. So for example, when I click on this, it moves in. You can have it move out like a slideshow too. All of these are again slideshow kind of things. So if you press this, it moves out on its own. You can also have push, and all of these different options have different options, sub options of their own. So it pushes the other element out, and you can choose the direction of the push. So you can push from the top, you can push it quickly, gently, bouncily, slowly, ease out, back, ease in and out, or use a custom bezier. So if you use a custom curve, you can do that as well. And now our push is going to work with our custom curve from the top. You can press this option to animate matching layers together. So for example, if you have some matching layers like this, it animates them on its own together, which is quite similar to Smart Animate, but Smart Animate does that without a lot of hassle. So we're just going to go ahead and choose that. You can also choose slide in and slide out with your own custom options. So let's see what that does to our screens as well. Again, not a lot of unseen stuff. It's just really simple, and you've seen it a bunch of times. So I'm just going to keep this really simple. Slide out is also quite similar in an opposite manner to slide out. And now we're just going to select Smart Animate, because for most cases this is exactly what you need. Easing is going to be set to all of these different options are available to you. So easing is going to be set to gentle for now. It takes 800 milliseconds. You can change the duration if you want to. I'm going to choose like 500 milliseconds because that's all I need. And you can reset your scroll position if you had a longer screen as well. So for example, now if I press this, it automatically smoothly slides into half a second of Smart Animate. This is all of the interactions inside side of Figma. The one thing that's recent and actually quite good with Figma is if you choose a certain setting. So for example, if you choose Smart Animate for 500 milliseconds from this screen to this screen, when you take another flow and when you start prototyping for the next flow, it automatically gives you the same settings so that everything in your single UI can remain consistent. And this is automatically exactly the same as the last one unless you go ahead and physically change it. You can choose scroll behaviors, so if for longer screens where you have really a lot of stuff going on, and you can also choose a couple of prototyping settings. So for example, if you're wondering how I got this laptop and this black background, I can go ahead and choose that really simply by changing the background color over here. So if I change the background color in here will also change. If I change the device, because this is MacBook Pro 16, I stuck to that exact same device, but if I choose something bigger or smaller or different looking, I'm going to get that as well. So this is going to become really movable because the screen size is different. But if you're designing something for a laptop, for a phone, for a TV, you can make those exact frames when you're prototyping. So you can go over here and you can choose a frame size that you want. So if I had a TV frame size, I could make that happen. And then when I would look at the TV screen, the last one that we just made, let's go ahead and make this, then it would kind of stay in its own lane and it's not scrolling right now. It's really exactly taking the exact same amount of space as the TV. But that is besides the point. When we go to the prototype tab, all of these blue buttons are places where you can start prototyping flows from and where you can keep prototype flows going to. In your prototype settings, you can have one or more than one flow. So right now we only have a single flow, and we can pinpoint exactly where that is and it'll show us this flow selected automatically. You can see your flows, you can link your flows, you can copy your flows, you can make the flows show up in a smaller version while you're working with Figma right here by clicking on this option or this option right here. These are both the same options of showing the flow in a smaller manner. And as you change your device to MacBook Pro 16, it's going to take up exactly the same amount of space you needed to. This is a smaller version of what your entire flow looks like. It's not really for clients, it's only for your own use cases, but it's just here in case you need to see how your flow works exactly. And when you're prototyping for larger screens, make sure to always be prototyping for every single icon or element that takes you any other place. So for example, right now this icon everywhere takes me to this screen, and we're prototyping for the navigation bar right now, and this takes us to the fourth screen. So we're just going to make sure that happens. And when you're prototyping, always make sure as you're coming to the end, make sure to link your last screen back to your first one, because people will go from here to here and they'll keep on linking screens, but they forget to link the last screen to the first one, and that leaves a open loop. So your entire flow only works until you get to the last screen and there's no way to go back and restart the flow. Make sure to always link your last screen to the first one, and that is how you prototype a simple prototype option in Figma. And check out Smart Animate lets you make sure all of the elements that were present commonly between this screen and this screen animate on their own in a really smooth, funny manner. And that is all you need to know about prototyping to get started prototyping your very first file in Figma. Now that you know everything you need to know about how to prototype, you need to keep a couple of things in mind. Always design complete flows and not just single screens. Keep your spacing consistent. Use Smart Animate for smooth transitions. Avoid over animating everything. Clients care about clarity far more than they care about fancy effects. Focus on simple, clear and realistic prototypes. And when presenting, make sure to open your prototype up in full screen mode. Hide your Figma interface. Click through your screens slowly. Explain your decisions so the client feels like the product already exists. And this increases trust instantly, because Figma prototyping looks complicated from the outside but is actually extremely simple on the inside. In reality, prototyping is all about connecting screens. Start simple and practice small flows. Within a few days, you'll prototype faster than most designers out there, and that gives you a huge advantage. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a nice comment. I'll read all of them and hopefully I'll reply to as many as I can. And I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to check out this playlist for all things Figma, and make sure to check out this video if you're new to UI UX design on the world's easiest intro to UI design, or this video for the world's easiest intro to UX design in just a couple of minutes. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright, love you, bye.